Once upon a time in eastern Nigeria, a very long time ago, there was a village called Umuika. Here lived a man named Chima, known far and wide for his extraordinary physical prowess. His muscles were sculpted like those of ancient warriors, and his demeanor was noble and kind. Yet, despite his almost divine appearance, Chima bore a burden that brought him immense sorrow, an extraordinarily large manhood. This peculiar gift, while a symbol of strength and virility, became the source of his deepest pain. Women were drawn to him, but they could never stay, unable to endure the immense pain his endowment caused, as he was unable to penetrate any woman. Chima's heart grew heavy with loneliness, longing for a love he believed he would never find. The village of Umuike was abuzz with anticipation. Chima, known for his bravery and charm, had set his eyes on Nneka, the most eligible bachelorette in the village. Her beauty was the talk of Umuike, with suitors from far and near hoping to win her heart. Chima, however, was determined to be the one. Chima's pursuit of Nneka was nothing short of grand. Each morning he would stand beneath the towering Iroko tree near her family's compound, singing songs of love and bravery. His voice, deep and melodic, echoed through the village, drawing villagers out of their huts to listen. He would also shower her with lots of gifts. Chima's serenades became a daily spectacle, with children giggling and elders nodding in approval. Determined to impress Nneka, Chima participated in every village festival and contest, always emerging victorious. At the annual Yam Festival, he outdid himself by carrying the heaviest yam tuber, earning cheers and applause from the crowd. Nneka, watching from a distance, couldn't help but be impressed by his strength and determination. As weeks turned into months, Chima's persistence began to wear down Nneka's initial reluctance. She admired his bravery, his dedication, and the way he treated everyone with respect. One evening, under the glow of the full moon, Nneka finally approached Chima. "Your songs have filled my heart, and your deeds have shown me your worth," she said, her eyes sparkling. "I am ready to be yours, Chima." The announcement of their union was met with jubilation. The entire village celebrated, knowing that Chima and Nneka were destined to be a power couple. On the night of their betrothal, the village gathered to dance and feast, the air thick with joy and anticipation for the future. However, the happiness was short-lived. That night, as Nneka entered Chima's hut for the first time, she was overcome with fear. Chima's manhood, larger than she had ever imagined, filled her with a sense of dread. Panic gripped her heart, and before Chima could understand what was happening, Nneka fled from the hut, screaming. The village, still awake and buzzing from the celebrations, witnessed the scene unfold. Nneka's screams pierced the night, and within moments, the joyous atmosphere turned to one of shock and confusion. Whispers spread like wildfire, and by morning everyone knew of the scandal. Nneka's departure left Chima heartbroken and humiliated. He couldn't understand why something so natural, or so he thought, had driven her away. The village, though supportive, couldn't help but gossip about the incident. Some elders suggested rituals to appease the gods, believing that Chima's enormous manhood was a curse. Others advised Chima to seek a solution from the village herbalist. Despite the scandal, Chima's love for Nneka never wavered. He continued to serenade her, hoping that she would one day return and understand that his love was more significant than any physical attribute. The scandal in Umuike gradually became old news, but Chima's and Nneka's hearts remained burdened by their unresolved feelings. For months, Chima continued his serenades and public displays of affection, hoping to win Nneka back, while Nneka remained secluded, declining every invitation from Chima. One fateful day, during the Harmattan season, When the dry winds swept through the village and the air was thick with dust, Nneka sent a message to Chima. She requested to meet him by the river, a place where they had once shared moments of laughter and dreams. Chima's heart raced as he received the message, hope flickering anew within him. At dusk, Chima arrived at the river, the setting sun casting a golden glow on the water's surface. Nneka was already there, her silhouette framed against the fading light. She turned as he approached, her eyes reflecting a mixture of sadness and determination. "Chima," Nneka began softly, her voice trembling, "I have thought long and hard about us, about what happened. The truth is, I never truly loved you. I appreciate your efforts and your dedication, but my heart was never yours." Chima's face fell, but he listened intently, his eyes searching hers. "Then why did you agree to be with me, Nneka?" She sighed, looking away momentarily. "I wanted to feel the kind of love and admiration you showed me. I thought that maybe, over time, I could learn to love you as you loved me. But that night, in your hut, I realized it wasn't fair to either of us, and I do not think I can live without intimacy in my marriage," Nneka said firmly. The weight of her words settled between them. Chima felt his heart break anew, but knew he had to respect her feelings. "So, what do we do now?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Nneka took a deep breath, steadying herself. "We must part ways, Chima. It is the only way for both of us to heal and find peace. I will always be grateful for the kindness and affection you showed me, but we cannot continue this charade." Chima closed his eyes, fighting back tears. He understood the truth in her words, painful as it was. "I will always wish you well, Nneka, and I hope you find the love you truly seek." With a final, lingering look, Nneka turned and walked away, the wind carrying away her sobs. Chima watched until she disappeared from sight, the ache in his chest growing with each passing moment. In the weeks that followed, Chima threw himself into his work and village duties, trying to distract himself from the pain. Nneka too found solace in helping her family and participating in community activities. Though their paths no longer crossed, both found a way to move forward, carrying the lessons of their brief but intense relationship with them. Soon, she caught the attention of a wealthy farmer from a nearby village. He was an older man, already married to 2 wives, but his wealth and influence were well known. Nneka accepted his proposal, becoming his 3rd wife. Her new life brought her security and a different kind of respect, though it was far from the passionate love Chima had offered. One fateful season, a calamity struck Umuike, the sacred river that flowed through the village, providing water and sustenance, mysteriously dried up. Panic spread as crops began to wither, and thirst threatened the lives of both people and animals. The village elders convened, desperate for a solution. Consulting the village priest, they discovered an old prophecy. "A man of unparalleled strength and unique endowment shall restore the river's life." Chima, with his extraordinary attributes, was the obvious choice. His physical endowment, which was considered a curse by the villagers, now seems to be their only hope. Hesitant but resolute in his desire to save his village, Chima approached the sacred riverbed. The prophecy detailed a ritual that required the physical manifestation of strength and virility to revive the waters. Summoning all his courage, Chima performed the ritual, his powerful presence and unique anatomy channeling the ancient energies needed to restore the river. Miraculously, water began to flow once more, and the village was saved. News of Chima's heroic deed spread like wildfire. People from distant lands flocked to Umuike, eager to witness the man who had saved an entire village with his extraordinary gift. the king made him a trusted advisor and gifted him a very big house befitting his new status as the king's right-hand man. Tourists brought lavish gifts, hoping to catch a glimpse of the outline of his impressive manhood. Chima's fame and wealth grew exponentially, yet his heart remained burdened by solitude. Despite the admiration and riches, he still could not find a partner who could endure his physicality. He worried he would never have intimacy as long as he lived. Meanwhile, in a distant kingdom called Nuri, Princess Amara lived under a terrible curse. An evil witch, envious of Amara's beauty and grace, had cursed her so that no man could ever satisfy or stay with her, except the gods intervened, leaving her isolated and unhappy. Her father, the dying King Obiora, was desperate to see his daughter find happiness. On his deathbed, he vowed to grant her one final wish. Amara, having heard tales of Chima's remarkable endowment, asked her father to summon him, hoping he might be the one who is chosen by the gods to break her curse. The sun had just begun its descent, casting a warm golden glow over the royal palace of Nuri. Inside the grand chamber, the scent of medicinal herbs hung in the air, mingling with the faint aroma of incense. King Obiora lay on a richly adorned bed, his frail body resting against an array of silk pillows. Despite his illness, his eyes retained their sharpness, and his mind was as keen as ever. The walls of the chamber were adorned with intricate carvings, depicting scenes of bravery and wisdom from the history of their people. Amara, his only daughter, entered the room quietly, carrying a tray with a bowl of steaming herbal concoction. Her beauty was undeniable, with eyes that sparkled with intelligence and a smile that could light up the darkest night. She approached her father's bedside with a gentle grace, setting the tray down on a nearby table. "Ah, Amara, my jewel," King Obiora greeted her with a warm smile. "You bring light to this old heart of mine. Come, sit by me." Amara smiled back and took a seat beside her father, reaching out to hold his hand. "Father, you must drink this. The healer says it will strengthen you." The king chuckled softly. "The healer's potions taste like the bottom of a neglected well, but if it is your wish, I shall drink it." Amara laughed, her eyes twinkling. "Father, you always have a way with words, but this time I believe the healer knows what he's doing." King Obiora nodded, taking the bowl and sipping the bitter liquid with a grimace. "Ah, life is like a calabash of palm wine. Some sips are sweet, others bitter, but we must drink it all the same." They shared a moment of comfortable silence, the bond between them palpable. But Amara's smile faded slightly, and her father noticed the change. "What troubles you, my daughter? Your heart seems heavy, like the rain-laden clouds before a storm." Amara sighed, looking down at her hands. "Father, it is about my future. I see my friends getting married and settling down, yet I remain here. I fear I will forever be alone, as I am unable to find a man chosen by the gods who can satisfy my sexual desires." The king nodded thoughtfully. "A bird does not sing because it has an answer, but because it has a song. Your time will come, Amara. The gods have their plans for you. I know the gods will not sit idly by and watch the wicked plans of the witch succeed," he added. "But father," Amara hesitated, "I have heard of a man, a famous man blessed by the gods. They say his name is Chima, and he lives in Umwika village. Perhaps he is the one destined for me." King Obiora's eyes twinkled with interest. "Chima, you say, blessed by the gods, no less. Tell me more about this man. They say he is very strong, wise, and kind, and his hands are blessed with the gifts of prosperity. I believe he could be the one to bring happiness to our family," Amara pleaded, voice full of hope. The king nodded slowly, his mind already working. "Very well, my beloved daughter. If the gods messenger to summon him to our palace." Amara's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, father. You always know what is best," she added happily. King Obiora smiled, his heart warmed by his daughter's joy. A good parent is like a baobab tree. Its roots run deep and its shade provides comfort. Go now and rest easy. We shall see what the gods have in store." With that, he called for his trusted messenger and instructed him to travel to Umuike village and bring Chima to their palace. As the messenger set off, Amara felt a surge of excitement and anticipation. The journey to finding her destiny had begun. However, Chima, wary of unfamiliar kingdoms and fearing deceit, refused to go. After much deliberation, the princess and her father decided to travel to Umuike themselves. When they arrived, the people of Umuike were in awe of the royal entourage because they came with all manner of beautiful horses, cows, and lots of precious jewelry, which was previously unknown in Umuike. When Princess Amara set her eyes on Chima, she instantly fell in love. The feeling was obviously mutual, for Chima insisted that Amara and her father stay in his largest and most comfortable hut. They would speak the next day when they were all fully rested and fed. Later that night, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows along the riverbank, Chima felt an inexplicable urge to take a walk. The air was heavy with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers, the river flowing with a serene rhythm that mirrored his thoughts. He strolled leisurely, his mind drifting with the current, until he noticed something unusual, a figure, delicate and ethereal, bathing gracefully in the moonlit water. The moon's soft glow caressed her skin, giving her an almost otherworldly luminescence. Chima was transfixed, his breath catching in his throat. He felt drawn to her, as if an invisible thread were pulling him closer. In a daze, he stripped off his clothes, the cool night air prickling his skin, and stepped into the water. It was only when he was waist-deep in the river that he realized he hadn't seen her face clearly. The darkness obscured her features, leaving him with a tantalizing silhouette that hinted at extraordinary beauty. He moved closer, the water swirling around them, feeling an electric connection as their bodies met. Her skin was smooth, her touch tender yet insistent. They moved together in a fluid dance, the water amplifying every sensation, every whisper of movement. Chima lost himself in the moment, his senses overwhelmed by the intensity of their union. The river seemed to hold them in an intimate embrace, the world beyond fading into oblivion. Their shared passion reached a fevered pitch, every touch, every sigh mingling with the night. Chima felt an ecstasy he had never known as he penetrated her, a deep, primal satisfaction that left him breathless and yearning. He felt so relaxed and complete as his manhood was relaxed in her warm embrace. And then, as suddenly as she had appeared, the woman slipped away, disappearing into the darkness like a mirage. Chima called out, his voice echoing off the riverbanks, but she was gone, leaving only the memory of their encounter. Chima returned to the shore, his body trembling, his mind racing. He dressed slowly, every movement deliberate as if to anchor himself back to reality. But sleep eluded him that night. He lay on his mat, staring up at the thatched roof, his thoughts consumed by the mysterious woman. Who was she? How had she disappeared so suddenly? The questions gnawed at him, their answers just out of reach. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Chima reached a startling conclusion. This woman, this ethereal being who had satisfied him so deeply, could not be of this world. He must have wandered into the spirit realm, encountering a being of otherworldly grace and passion. It was the only explanation that made sense. No ordinary woman could have touched him so profoundly, leaving an indelible mark on his soul. With this realization, Chima resolved to return to the riverbank, hoping to encounter the mysterious spirit once more. to unravel the enigma that now haunted his waking thoughts. The next day, the king of Umuike came very early to Chima's home to greet the royal entourage. They exchanged pleasantries, and the meeting promptly ensued, but not before Chima's servants served up a very large feast. While eating, they discussed the purpose of their visit. The sun was high in the sky, casting a brilliant light over Chima's expansive compound in Umuike village. The air was filled with the sounds of chatter and the occasional burst of laughter as villagers gathered to witness the meeting of two great kings. The compound was beautifully decorated with colorful cloths and garlands of flowers, a testament to Chima's wealth and hospitality. In the center of the compound, under a large canopy, sat King Obiora of Nri and King Adigwe of Umuike. Amara, standing close to her father, looked relieved and joyful to see him appearing much stronger than he had the previous day. Surrounding them were the elders of both villages, seated on comfortable wooden stools, while the rest of the villagers, comprising youths, women, and children, stood or sat on the ground, eager to witness the event. King Obiora rose to his feet, commanding the attention of everyone present. His voice was strong and clear, a far cry from the weakened state he had been in. Amara felt a swell of pride and gratitude in her heart as she watched her father. "Greetings, my people of Umuike," King Obiora began, his voice resonating with authority. "And to you, my esteemed friend and brother, King Adigwe, I extend my deepest respect. It is said that a tree does not make a forest, and today I stand here amongst a great forest of wise and noble souls." The crowd murmured in appreciation, their eyes fixed on King Obiora. "Chima," he continued, turning his gaze to the young man standing nearby, "your fame has traveled far and wide. It is said that your wealth is only surpassed by your kindness and hospitality. A man's character, they say, is like smoke. No matter how much you try to hide it, it will always find a way to reveal itself." There were shouts of joy and celebration from the villagers at these words, for they had all experienced Chima's generosity firsthand. Regular feasts and acts of kindness had endeared him to the hearts of many. "Today I have come not just as a king, but as a father," King Obiora continued, his eyes glistening with emotion. "The gods have blessed me with a daughter, Amara, who stands beside me. In her heart, she has heard tales of a man blessed by the gods, a man named Chima. And so, we have come to meet you, to see if the whispers of the wind speak the truth." King Adigwe of Umuike rose then, his voice booming with pride. "King Obiora, my brother, you honor us with your presence. Chima indeed is a man of great virtue. His actions have spoken louder than any praise we could offer." Chima stepped forward, bowing respectfully to both kings. "My kings, it is a great honor to stand before you. Whatever wealth or kindness I possess is but a reflection of the love and support of my people. I am humbled by your words and by the presence of your daughter, Amara." Amara felt her heart flutter as she gazed at Chima. He was tall and strong, with a kindness in his eyes that spoke volumes. She could see why the gods had blessed him. King Obiora smiled, his eyes twinkling with approval. "Chima, the plantain does not bear fruit for itself alone. Your generosity has fed many, and your heart has warmed many more. Today, we seek to build a bridge between our villages, to unite our strengths, and to foster a bond that will endure for generations." The villagers erupted into cheers, their voices rising in a chorus of celebration. The kings of Nri and Umuike, along with their people, were coming together in a momentous union. King Obiora had just finished his address, leaving the crowd in a buzz of excitement. It was now Chima's turn to speak. He rose to his feet, his presence commanding respect and admiration from those gathered. "Greetings, my kings and honored elders," Chima began, his voice strong and clear. "And to all my beloved people of Umuike and our esteemed guests from Nuri, I extend my heartfelt welcome. Today is a day that the gods have surely blessed, for it is not every day that we are graced by such noble company." The crowd murmured in agreement, their eyes fixed on Chima. It is said that when the palm tree falls, the squirrel will climb another. But today we stand together as one forest, unbroken and united. The presence of King Obiora and his daughter Amara among us is a testament to the strength and unity that binds our communities. Chima began. He turned to King Obiora, his expression one of deep respect. "My king, your words honor me greatly. The tales of my wealth and hospitality are but shadows of the truth, for the true wealth of a man lies in the love and support of his people. It is their faith and trust that make me who I am." As the stars twinkled in the night sky over Umuike, I found myself restless and in need of solitude. The arrival of Princess Amara and her father had stirred something within me, a mixture of hope and trepidation. To clear my mind, I took a walk along the tranquil riverbank, the cool night air providing a soothing backdrop. He continued. As I wandered closer to the water's edge, my attention was suddenly captured by a mesmerizing sight. There, bathed in the soft glow of the moonlight, was a woman. Her silhouette was otherworldly, her every movement fluid and captivating. The curve of her hips, the arch of her back, and the gentle sway of her hair as she moved entranced me. Her pitch-black nappy hair was a crown of beauty, framing her face and flowing down her back, soft and full even in the darkness. The water glistened on her skin, highlighting every contour of her sensual form, her dark skin glowing under the moonlight. An overwhelming pull drew me closer. My breath quickened, my heart pounding in my chest. Who was this enchanting woman? Was she a spirit from the other realm, or a mystical being sent to soothe my restless soul? Chima said, looking perplexed as he continued his tale. "My elders, I cannot lie to you, so please take what I am about to tell you with a grain of salt." Unable to resist, I stripped off my clothes, the cool night air brushing against my bare skin as I entered the water. My eyes never left her. As I approached, she turned towards me, her eyes meeting mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Her gaze was both inviting and mysterious, her lips parting slightly in a knowing smile. We moved towards each other, the water rippling around us, creating an intimate cocoon. The moment our bodies touched, I felt a jolt of electricity course through me. Her skin was soft and warm, her curves fitting perfectly against my muscular frame. My hands roamed her body, tracing the lines of her hips and the dip of her waist, each touch igniting a fire within me. Our connection was primal and raw, a dance of passion under the cloak of night. We moved together with an unspoken understanding, our bodies merging as one. Her breasts, soft and full, pressed against my chest as she clung to me in desperate pleasure. The taste of her saliva on my tongue was intoxicating, sweet and warm, adding to the intensity of our union. My thoughts became a blur of sensations and emotions. I was lost in her, every part of me consumed by the intensity of our union. The water swirled around us, the sounds of the night fading into the background. My mind grappled with the surreal nature of the encounter. This woman, so ethereal and perfect, seemed to know exactly how to touch me, how to fulfill my deepest desires. I wondered if I had crossed into the spirit realm, for no ordinary woman could bring me such ecstasy. My usual doubts and fears vanished, replaced by a profound sense of completion. I was able to experience something I never thought I could, mainly because of my enormous manhood, which has become known to many. As suddenly as it began, the moment ended. The mysterious woman slipped from my grasp, her figure melting into the darkness of the river. I called out, my voice echoing through the night, but she was gone. I stood in the water, breathless and dazed, trying to comprehend what had just happened. My body was spent, but my mind was alight with the memory of her touch, her scent, and the way she made me feel whole. I returned to my hut, unable to sleep. I replayed the encounter over and over in my mind, each detail etched into my memory. I was convinced I had experienced something otherworldly, a gift from the gods or a visitation from a spirit. As the first light of dawn broke, I resolved to find out who she was, hoping that she might hold the key to ending my loneliness, as no ordinary maiden could. Chima narrated. Amara, unable to maintain her composure any longer, started crying and confessed that she was the one at the river the previous night. Silence fell on the crowd as murmurs erupted in different sections of the crowd. Chima once again rose to speak, which restored absolute silence and attentiveness from the villagers. He began, "King Obiora, you spoke of bridges and unity," Chima continued, his eyes shining with conviction. "A single broomstick can be broken, but a bundle remains strong. In the same way, our villages, united, will be unbreakable. Together, we will face whatever challenges come our way, and together, we will celebrate our victories." The crowd erupted into cheers, their voices rising in a chorus of approval. Chima's words had struck a chord with them, reinforcing the sense of unity and strength that was palpable in the air. Chima then turned to Amara, his gaze softening. "Amara, daughter of the great King Obiora, your presence here is a blessing. It is said that the morning sun never forgets the village where it rises. Today, you rise in Umuike, and we are honored to welcome you." Amara felt her heart flutter as she gazed at Chima. He was tall and strong, with a kindness in his eyes that spoke volumes. She could see why the gods had blessed him. As he had never felt as complete as she felt the previous night, her encounter with Chima, though unplanned, had turned out to be more than what she could have ever imagined, as no man had ever come close to satisfying her as much as Chima had. She knew now more than ever that Chima was the god's gift to her. They have finally intervened, she thought silently to herself as she let out a reassuring smile. Chima smiled warmly, addressing the crowd once more. "Let this day be remembered as the day two villages came together, not just in words, but in spirit. Let the bond we forged today be a beacon for future generations, a reminder that we are stronger together." With a deep breath, Chima turned to face Amara directly. "Amara, it is said that the heart knows when it has found its home. My heart tells me that my home is with you. Will you do me the honor of becoming my wife?" The compound fell silent, every eye fixed on Amara. The anticipation was palpable, the air thick with suspense. Amara smiled, her eyes shining with emotion. "Yes, Chima, I will," she replied softly. The silence was broken by an eruption of joy. The villagers cheered, their voices rising in a deafening chorus of celebration. Women ululated, children jumped and clapped, and the men pounded their walking sticks on the ground in rhythmic approval. The sound was a symphony of happiness, echoing through the compound and beyond. The elders nodded in approval, their faces breaking into wide smiles. King Obiora and King Adigwe exchanged satisfied glances, their hearts swelling with pride and joy. This union was a testament to the strength and unity of their villages. Chima and Amara stood together, basking in the outpouring of love and support. The knowledge that their union had brought such joy to their people filled them with a sense of purpose and fulfillment. As the celebration continued, feasts were prepared, and traditional songs and dances filled the air. The villagers, now more than ever, felt a deep connection to one another, their bonds strengthened by this joyous occasion. Amara and Chima moved through the crowd, receiving blessings and congratulations from everyone they met. The elders imparted wisdom, the women offered words of encouragement, and the children looked up at them with admiration and wonder. The marriage feasting lasted a whole week, and during that time, the couple were basically attached at the hip. On the seventh day of feasting, it was revealed that Amara was pregnant, and Chima was made the crown prince and heir apparent of Nri. In the following decades, Amara gave birth to 19 children. They all lived happily, their love story becoming a legend that inspired many, as they were no longer the cursed couple, but the couple blessed and favored by the gods. They became each other's ultimate salvation.